So last year I read 28 books, and this year my goal is to not have any goals, basically. Hi, my name is Sarah, and this is the Book Binge. I'm not sure if anyone else is getting hit with a lot of 2024 reading goal videos, so maybe this will give you a little break from that because, as I said prior, I don't think I want to have any reading goals, but instead, I am going to state my aspirations for 2024. Let's get into it. Overall, I think I have 3 aspirations, and my first aspiration for 2024 is, as I already said, I don't want to have any goals. I think I've heard other people also discuss that they feel pressure when they set a goal, specifically on Goodreads, which is hilarious because I know I have like no followers on Goodreads, so I doubt anyone cares or checks. I don't think I've ever checked anyone else's reading goals on Goodreads, but self-centered. So I think I'm like worried other people are gonna see that I didn't meet my goal. On top of that, for some reason, I always set a toxic, may I say, a toxic reading goal. I'll be like, 40 books. I'm going to read 40 books, 50 books this year. I very am consistently missing that mark by like half. As I said prior, I read 28 books, and I think my goal was 40 last year. I looked back, and for the past 2 years, 3 years actually, I have read between 20 to 25 books. So, I mean, last year was a good year for me, I guess. But I don't know why I'm bad at goal setting, and it doesn't really serve me. In general, I'm not getting a grade for this, so I don't know why I feel pressured to meet the goal. So I'm doing away with it entirely. I also did find, and I'm not sure if this is true for anyone else, but when I had the goals, I would kind of cheat, and whenever I saw I was getting behind, I would pick shorter books just because I knew it would get me closer to my goal rather than choosing books because I'm genuinely interested in them. So, no. And the last thing I really had to think on is, am I less of a reader than someone else if I don't read a lot of books? No. I feel like you don't have to read a certain threshold of books to be considered someone who speaks on books. Just because someone reads 100 books doesn't mean they're better informed than someone who maybe read 5 that year. Anyone, this is Beyonce's internet, like anyone can speak on what they want to, and if I want to come on here and talk about the 10 books I read, that's fine. And in general, I feel like this page for me is not necessarily to exclusively talk about singular books. I'm a terrible book reviewer. I hate giving people bad scores. I hate summarizing a book. It's just not for me. I'm here for the themes. I'm here to just talk about themes and general feelings about the publishing industry or the marketing and all of that. So I don't need that. But yeah, I think no goals is definitely my aspiration number 1. So my second aspiration, this one should be easy, is to attend my book clubs on a regular basis. I am currently a part of 2 book clubs. One is one I actually started 3 years ago. I am very close with the people in that book club. And last year, I did do a great job of attending. I think I only missed 1 month. But my toxic trait is that I never read the book club book. I just come to book club, and then depending on the conversation and if everyone else said it was a good book, then I will decide if I read the book. I don't know why I'm like this. So that's why in growth here, the goal is to attend book club on a regular basis and actually read at least one of the books, because we read 3 books in that book club. So I'm committing myself to reading 1 and attending every month. My other book club is just with some really close friends, and it's gonna be a light lift because we're gonna meet every other month. I would 100% recommend starting a book club with strangers or people you know. I think what I get out of reading the most is actually the discussions afterward. So for me, it fills my cup up, and I would recommend it to everyone else. If you got 2 friends, okay, that is enough. So yeah, second aspiration is to attend book club on a regular basis and to read at least one of the books. So excited for that. And if you're part of my book club and you somehow find this, please feel free to call me out in the comments if you've noticed I haven't been at book club. My third aspiration is to choose organic book discovery. I'm claiming this year. I think this will be the hardest thing for me. Let me explain. Please like or comment in the comments I remember. If you remember when Barnes & Noble used to have recommendations at the bottom of the receipt. I remember that from my childhood, and they were always really good recommendations. Oh, what a time. I just feel like I don't trust a lot of people on these various social media platforms, TikTok, because I think having been on the influencer side of it, I don't think people realize how many books on Book Talk are like, it's just marketing. Sometimes you can tell because the person in the video will not really describe what the book was about. It'll be like the vaguest description in general. I think having been on that side of it, I'm super wary because I've been burned. Who else here has been burned by Book Talk with their recommendations? I have been. Some of the books that they were really hyping up, terrible, terrible, terrible. So this year I'm claiming organic book growth, I'm claiming organic book discovery. Remember when you used to have to go to the library or the bookstore and open the book? You had to open or read the back or read like the inner cover. Oh my gosh. We don't do that anymore. We go in because we saw on something what book you should be reading. You go to the person at the front, say, where's this book? Grab your book, maybe grab a coffee, you're out. Like, what happened to perusing? What happened to smelling, flipping, holding the stack and having to narrow down your books? I miss those times. So I'm going back to organic book growth. I'm not taking any recommendations unless they are pretty much from my book club, or if a friend gifts me a book because they were like, you really have to read this book, it's blowing up. So we'll see how that goes. I did go to the library last weekend and I did this, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie, it was actually very hard. I was struggling. It took me an hour to find a book I wanted to check out, but hey, there's a learning curve, and I do think that this will lead to me trying different genres that I normally wouldn't have. So we'll see. You know, I pay taxes, so those fund the library, and I should partake in the library. Additionally, this is kind of a tangential aspiration. I'm gonna continue with my no book buying year. I did really good with that last year. I think I maybe bought like 3 or 4 books. Now, did I buy a lot of books for other people? Yes, because that's my go-to present. I don't know if anyone else is the same way, but books for present is my staple. But I clearly have some stuffed shelves. Like, it goes up another 2 things filled. So I don't have room, and I don't want to buy another bookcase, and I do think I'll be moving in the next year or 2. So the thought of having to move these books again, terrifying. What I did last year, which I found very helpful, is for one, I have a subscription to, it used to be called Scribe, now it's called Ever, and I'll put it here. It's like $13 a month and you can read a lot of books on it. I promise you this is not paid or an ad. Now if someone out there wants this to be paid, yeah, hit me up. But currently it's not. I've had that app for 2 years and I use it all the time. And what works for me is if I'm reading a book that I got from the library or I have from my app and I like it, love the book, gave it a 5 stars, then I buy the book for my collection. Because what's the point of having a bunch of books that you don't even like? Why are we like that? Like, so many, I feel like I can tell you half of these books on here I didn't love. And I just want the books in my book collection to be books that I loved. I don't feel like that's strange. Anyway, those are my aspirations. I think it's going to be a successful year for me because, as I said, I don't have any goals. So technically I'm already winning. But I do think at the end of this, I will see how many books I read. I wonder if I'll read more because I'm allowing myself more freedom when it comes to reading. But yeah, I'm feeling confident. Currently, I'm reading the second book to the Scythe series, Thunderhead. I think my next video I want to do is about All About Love by Bell Hooks. I read that last year with my partner, and it was not what I was expected at all. And so I'd like to kind of have a little Valentine's Day discussion about All About Love and my takeaways from that. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Happy reading, everyone.